Hello, Grace family, and welcome to another midweek check-in. I just want to continue to take advantage of these opportunities to come alongside of you, to encourage you, and to just encourage you in your walk with Christ as we learn and follow from Jesus together. So reviewing back, looking at last Sunday, we covered so much ground. We looked at loving the Lord our God with all of our heart, all our soul, all our mind, and all our strength. And there was so much information that we covered, but it got us to the point where we talked about the truth that Jesus fulfills our inability to love God perfectly. And so while we have this long list of things of what it actually looks like to love God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, we also acknowledge that we are incapable of that. But through Jesus, He fulfills our inability to love God perfectly. And I was thinking about that this week in my own walk. And it's not just that He fulfills our inability to love God perfectly, Jesus fulfills our inability to do anything perfectly. I know there's a lot of times in my Christian life where I feel like I'm not good enough. You know, I'm not a good enough husband. I'm not a good enough dad. I'm not a good enough pastor. I'm not a good enough friend. And maybe you're similar to me. Maybe there's just times in your life where you're like, wow, I just can't do this. I'm not a good enough mom, or I'm not a good enough coworker. I'm not a good enough friend, whatever it may be. And so just to think about the truth that Jesus fulfills our inability to do anything perfectly, I just want to encourage you in that, not to become passive and just go, well, I can't, so I'm going to give up, but to look even more at the one who then comes in and covers over our imperfections. And I want to encourage you that that should lead us to a deeper trust in who Jesus is, because He can do and be what we can't do and who we can't be. And so even in those moments where we feel like we're imperfect and not good enough, Jesus is the better. He is good enough, and He covers over that. So lean in on that, trust Him for that, and allow Him to continue to make you more and more like Him and do and be what only He can do through you. So looking ahead at this next Sunday, we're going to be diving into our first level of our vision. So we've talked about making disciples who make disciples, and now it's the how we're going to do that. And we're going to look at loving people where they're at by answering the question, how did Jesus do that? For this week specifically, we're going to be in Luke chapter 18, verses 35 through 43, I believe. And it's right in verse 40. It talks about this blind beggar, and the crowds are passing by, and there's two words that we're really going to focus in on. And it's right where the text says, Jesus stopped. And so we're going to talk about what it looks like in this culture to love people where they're at. But in our busyness and the craziness of this world, we need to follow the example of Jesus and stop. And so we're going to see what that looks like. We're going to see how that plays out a little bit, and maybe ask God some areas that we can apply that in our own life. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. I will continue praying over you. If you're not a part of our church family, feel free to come on out Sunday morning, 9 a.m. We'd love to follow Jesus with you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week.